Honorable members, as you are also aware, that His Excellency the Governor, Dr. Erick Mutai, sent his two councils, which on record, honorable members, they forego the opportunity to fully defend their client, citing a court order, of which I must state it here and let it be on record that as a speaker, the alleged court order is not before me, and I did not receive it. And therefore, since they are not here to represent the client anymore, I now call upon the mover of the motion, Honorable Kiprotich Rogoni, to make his reply for a period not exceeding 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the members who've contributed to this motion. Mr. Speaker, it's been overwhelming. Had it not been for time, each and every member present here today would have contributed to the motion. Mr. Speaker, members have deliberated on the issue extensively. Mr. Speaker, Standing Order number 74, 4, Mr. Speaker, states that upon the expiry of the 7 days notice, Mr. Speaker, this motion was properly before the House. The Governor had an opportunity, pursuant to Article 50 of the Constitution, to defend himself here today. But because, Mr. Speaker, he disguised the whole thing using a court process. And I'm happy, Mr. Speaker, because the members here have stated you cannot injunct a process that has already started. In fact, Mr. Speaker, a member reminded me of an operation, a patient on an operation table, that if, say, the stomach has been opened and a court order comes, does that imply that the doctor will leave the patient on the table to die or continue with the operation? Mr. Speaker, this House, having started the motion on the impeachment of the Governor, could not be stopped by any court of law. And by any chance, Mr. Speaker, we gave a notice 7 days ago. The Governor had an opportunity to use every other means if he wanted to be heard. Mr. Speaker, the Governor is as guilty as charged. Mr. Speaker, I want to point out two issues. One, even the court order that was obtained by Joseph Kogo, Josiah Kogo. You know, Josiah proved before courts that the land belonged to him. The Governor disregarded the order and continues to use the land belonging to somebody else as a dump site. In fact, by the court itself ruling on the matter, proves that the Governor violated Chapter 6 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, the case of Alice Bett being nominated to replace Gideon Mutai as a county attorney. Mr. Speaker, again, the courts, in fact, adjudged the Governor. And that means the Governor is guilty and he ought not to be holding office as we speak. Mr. Speaker, how do you go to court to obtain an order to stop this House, you know, stating rightfully that you violated Chapter 6 of the Constitution? Mr. Speaker, this Governor, after this, and I want to beseech the members, when the voting comes, let us vote to impeach this Governor. He has no place in this county. Mr. Speaker, I want to give you three issues. Number one, Article 1 of the Constitution, the sovereign power of it belongs to the people of Kenya. And the same power is exercised both ways. One, directly by the people, or indirectly by the people elected to represent those people. Mr. Speaker, we sat as a House, given the mandate by the people, to ensure their issues are heard and determined. Mr. Speaker, any member who absconded this session today should be, called to order. Such individuals, wherever they are coming from, ought not to be holding those offices. Because one, they had an opportunity to argue their case before this House. but unfortunately they stayed away. Mr. Speaker, Article 2 of the Constitution, the supremacy of this Constitution, it binds everyone, all the state officers and state organs. Mr. Speaker, the governor is bound by the same Constitution. Unfortunately, he has gone an extra mile and disobeyed the same Constitution. Mr. Speaker, this governor should, stands impeached. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, Article 3 of the Constitution, the defense of this Constitution. We have that opportunity to defend the Constitution. That is the guiding principle in this country, Mr. Speaker. Now, where we have a governor who's violated every single article of the Constitution, he shouldn't be allowed to continue governing this county. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, in Kable Lartet ward, my neighboring ward, there is a nurse who retired. The facility was closed for 3 months because there is no staff hired because of lack of revenues. Mr. Speaker, the people had to demonstrate for the Department of Health to go and pick one of the nurses in one of the facilities. Mr. Speaker, my ward, we have a sub-county hospital called Sigawit. I went there one night, and there is a nurse who covered both the outpatient department and the inpatient, that is the wards. Mr. Speaker, these staffs are overwhelmed. Go to district hospital here, people complain for lack of service delivery because we do not have the personnel. And the personnel is hired by the county if we had revenues. This governor, Mr. Speaker, ensured that all the money is meant for this county is stolen for us not to get the service that people ought to get. As we speak, Mr. Speaker, I have a facility in my ward called Coilsir Dispensary. I know of a facility in Soliat ward which is ready for commissioning, but there is no staff. In Cheboin ward, we have the same facility, but without staff. Anytime we go to to those places, people keep on asking, why has the facility not been opened? And our answer is because we do not have staff. Raya do not understand who is supposed to get them that staff to run the facility. Mr. Speaker, this governor failed this county. This governor, when he came on board, he majored on non-issues and minored on serious issues. Mr. Speaker, I want to implore on this house, let us impeach this governor. He has to get out of this county for us to have this county back on track. For us to have the ECD teachers hired, this governor must go. For us to have our facilities, having the requisite number of personnel to run those facilities, this governor has to go. For us to have the instructors in all our various VTCs getting that proper remuneration, Dr. Mutai has to go. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity, and I implore on the members, when the voting time comes, let us vote to impeach Dr. Mutai. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
All right, thank you, Honorable.